Sunday, known name, known voice, known young person as well. Welcome to AYV on Sunday.
Thank you, John, for having me. Family, I'm already listening to your host,
Next, I'm going to introduce a very firebrand feminist. He always the advocate for women, also a youth advocate. His name now Theria Kuruma Nene. Welcome to AYV on Sunday.
Thank you, John. Glad you're for there.
All right.
Look forward to the discussion.
Finally, as part of the panel, we get a media and political analyst, Thomas Josephus Dixon. A lot of people like he left the Josephus out, but we like to use that because that's it connects the name perfectly. Welcome, Thomas, to AYV on Sunday.
Thank you very much. Good evening, listener.
Now, let me go on. We'll start with Yusuf. With a focus on President Bio's inclusion of young people in governance in his second inning, in his second term. Now, let me start off by letting people know the young people and first of all, we President Bio point, of course, including Yusuf, where everybody knows you've been serving as press secretary in the first inning, and then now you're serving as deputy minister of information and civic education. So let's get a list and possibly, some of the ministries where the young people are so there.
All right. So we get boku young people away president puts governance, but I think it will also find before we go to the list, let me get a context of how we don't come this far. Africa as a continent for us, we get one of the youngest population. About 40% of the African population, now young people. But interestingly, what's happening, JK, now the fact say in beaucoup countries in Africa, the average age now of the ministers is about 61 years. Now in Sierra Leone, we get about third of the population now young people. Inside that one day, where they between the ages of 18 to 35. Inside that one day, about 49% of Sierra Leone constitutes the workforce. Now, this means it provides for we a challenge and an opportunity. Now, because a third of the population are young people, it means the demand for the work go high. It means you get beaucoup young people where go want more skills, more trainings. It means beaucoup young people. Some of them go there, for instance, for drug abuse. It also means beaucoup young people then go also want to educate themselves, for get opportunities in life. And the challenges the one day. So we mean for the past 5 years, as a government, we don't look at all the challenges and opportunities. But President, like I always can say, not to June 24, it starts. This is like government in continuity. But for addressing some of the challenges there, what did the president do for the last 5 years for young people? President create beaucoup initiatives then. So I tell you part of the challenge the way they now, for instance, unemployment.
Okay,
jobs.
We know, and also you get notes you prepare, you fully loaded. If I give you time, you go roll out.
Yeah, so I want to give that context there before we come to the young people.
Fine. The first part of it where you sum up perfectly. Give you the context for which we ever talk about the youthful demography. How much of them make up the population? How much of them make up the workforce? And basically why president did this. But let's talk about now. Let's get to straight the number of young people who will be appointed, because a lot of things then they will ever talk about.
Okay.
Now some of the you don't begin for mention already, and I'll go for like the others for talk about that. But quickly give you a list of some of the people who will be appointed and key ministries as well will then be appointed.
Okay, so a list of the young people we presently president appoint. Obviously, we know we get we chief minister when Dr. David Moyna Senge. So out of the whole cabinet, we get about 11 of them young people and they were below the age of 40, so 40 and below. So we get the Dr. David Moyna Senge, we're now the chief minister. We also get Mr. Timothy Musa Kaba, we obviously they below 40 years. We're now the youngest foreign minister we don't get. We also get Dr. Musa Paka, we this year obviously himself just on 40 and below. We also get minister, we now Mr. Chino Ablaiba, we safely below 40 years. We also get Madam Aja Salima Tuba, we like you say, now 32 years old. We also get Mr. Mohamed Omambangura, when a known face, we now the Minister for Youth Affairs. We also the below 40 years. We get Dr. Jalika Mustafa, we na the Deputy Minister too, na Ministry of Health and Sanitation. We they below 40 years, you get myself, Sefwe Sidona Aso, we na the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education, with the below 40 years. We get Mr. Ibrahim Sano, we na the Deputy Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation. We serve the below 40 years. We get Engineer Francis Alpha Kalon, we himself now 32 years old. We're now Deputy Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation. And we also get Mr. Patrick M. Jubrila. We're now 32 years. We're now the Deputy Minister of Youth Affairs. You know, so this now the name them of
So
the
this
young people,
also spread to not just ministries, but departments and agencies as well.
Yes,
So you
well,
get others don't be appointed. NRA, for instance.
yes,
The young
so
people already go the one already go as diplomats now as well.
yes, so we get obviously Mr. Soare, we in NRA. We also get obviously, you know, Mr. Francis Ben Kelfala. We be the ACC, we continue for serve as ACC Commissioner. We also know a fantastic young man, we don't do very well in this country as well. So this is not just a galaxy of the young people living at the government, what I think say important because a population like we young, we're very youthful. I think say waiting make presidents do this kind of thing. Now the fact say, you know, get the kind of population that we're very youthful. Then you know use the young people we get the energy, the young people we get the strength for make sure say we move the country go before. But you know, only stop there. The president also mix them up with but experienced people back in the government.
Okay.
Where I think say we go through all the names them we in our various ministries them. We
right.
they also for guide and support with young people at the cabinet back as well.
All
so
right.
that not be just names of people that we young.
Okay.
We president appoint.
Thank you, Yusuf, establishing the context and give you some names of people that are president appoint. Like over to you. I mean, list of names and young people, also women amongst the list. Something this way for make young people and get any reason for look forward to waiting governance supposed for be like and something this way young people and for they look forward to every other time where perhaps a new president is elected and appointments have been made.
Of course, we know we say a young population very youthful, and if they talk about inclusion, it's a must that we bring young people in. And give them very active role because we don't pass a term where young people for just be passive supporters. You know, if we talk about inclusion, practical inclusion, sustainable inclusion, you know, young people need for be present in governance. And I think it's an optimistic scenario. And for the women cabinet appointees, this is something we sort of, you know, we always don't really expect, you know, as, you know, feminist advocate and activist. This is something we've always been advocating for. We've always been making the government, you know, foresee, like, for really appreciate the need for get women in power, you know, women in appointed positions. And not that the political parties don't get competent women, they get very competent women we can match up in them various positions there. So it's, you know, things at this time we know I don't feel say we feel like appointing women, giving women appointments for be something like a token, you know, it's not a favor.
But then
so
president in the last term, I mean, just before elections, the Gateway Bill was passed, the gender and women's empowerment and bill was passed into law, and we give women rights 30% quota in terms of every, whether in a public or private sector, when appointments and jobs they be given. I mean, so like you say, I don't think say it was considered as a token, but part of fulfilling president in actions by the bill way being passed into law.
Yeah, of course, it's a fulfillment, but we're saying that the government can do more, you know, and even the GIWI no end up or not stop at just 30%. It says at least 30% of women representation across different facets of society, you know. So, of course, as a government, you know, we don't they push the he for she agenda, the GIWI policy, like you rightly mentioned. The expectation is that we can get more in terms of inclusion, including women in the leadership makeup of things in Salon, you know. So, because if we look at achieving the sustainable development we have to talk about now. You cannot achieve that on the outside if women are excluded. So the emphasis is that it's not a tokenized effort. It should not be seen as a favoritism. Of course, it's been blown up, it's been celebrated, a lot of
but at least you're expecting more for happening in that direction.
More, very more,
All right.
So
okay,
much
yeah. I'll come back to you establishing points there. I'll come back to you, Thomas Dixon. Yes. Let's start off with you, and we'll start off this way. Waiting beyond the happy as far as young people in governance concerned, before we can to, the other points we can Yusuf raised, and then we can begin for zooming on every one of the other.
Well, I think young people, and before now, they refer to we as ghetto boys, all sort of names. They refer to young people. So before now, young people are not being actually be seen in governance position. When it comes to politicking, a lot of young people, then they use them for votes, for do politics, for campaign. But when it come for share the spoils of power, most times they get young people, much more young people into governance. I think this is also the first time where we don't get young people, so much young people in governance. The last time, I think it's between 1992 and 1994, the MPRC regime. We will get so many young people in governance. But whether they succeed or not, I think that's another thing. For me, I think they're not being succeed. Most of them not being succeed. When the MPRC come, you get the whole young people that we are very happy, see them comping young man. If at that time we get the youngest head of state. Na Africa, we na Valentine. Young people, very, very much enthusiastic. They mean very, very much hopeful. Say then the situation will change, but at the end of the day, it not change, and it not trickle down to the young people. For me, I think I'm not so much concerned about the amount of young people we get in governance. My concern is about how this amount of young people go trickle down to the millions of unemployed youth. We get how we go trickle down, how we go people wait for investments, for let investments come and let young people get job. So for let the government, that is important to them. It's not they motivate other people. Then they motivate other young people. We go see, for example, you see the chief minister. You say, I want for Bill Ekam. You go motivate you. You go through studies. You get to that point where you go make yourself. You go empower yourself. So when the opportunity can you go able for grab them.
So Dixon, I'll come back to you. We will go can talk about. I'll ask you the question directly. You say how the appointment go now. The ripples, how it will be felt by other people who not get then kind of appointment than the young people and call them the one that were not the grassroots.
The grassroots.
But you mentioned the last time we get youth in governance in actual control. It was from 1992 to 1996.
Yeah.
And then you had current president now.
Yeah.
As part of the 1992 squad, established governance then, and then later on in 1996 as well, before the elections. Things that one body thing and that way make you decide, okay, listen, I believe in agility, I believe in this strength, I believe in this confidence with the young people they have to get. Let me get some more of them based on what I see from the one that will perform for me, the likes of David Senge and few others, and appoint more into governance.
For me, I see three factors where responsible. I'm not actually thinking that MPRC factor because those people in MPRC not be succeed. The young people them in MPRC they not be succeed. Probably if I get this conspiracy theory where they say that the old guards have been there as advisors that they wrongly advise them. Where in a conspiracy theory we not able for prove, but they're not being succeed. For me, I think I look at three things the way I think say responsible. Number one, I think the president choose energy over experience. They want forget things be done, and the people who already get things done are young people. That not also was say some of the young people they are not get experience. Some of them have, look at the chief minister, he don't be minister of education, he don't be global minister, he don't win the award. And you look at the minister of information, he don't in a purposeful, he gets a successful NGO, we get international recognition. And so you get so many of them, we get that kind of caliber. Experience in governance, they choose energy, one for succeed, one for the people, young people, deliver. Help and deliver some of the things because
take me back to the question I initially asked you that you think say not go with energy.
Yeah, energy go with over experience.
So Yusuf, then before your second point, let me get Yusuf to bite on that because Yusuf also mentioned say yes indeed he appoint young people then but he still look at experience. There be some in and we establish why is the opening in statement. Yusuf, bite on that before we come back to Dixon for continuing point number 2.
Well, I think first the maker just start with the NPIC. My NPIC come, they come with one single objective. For move the country the system,
Then succeed?
Then succeed, of course. Because you remember, say, by 92, when you get, I'm glad you make reference to now the president. And then, in fact, at the age of 28, now in 1992, where they make, in fact, where he begin head the liaison for communications. You remember, say, in fact, I go refurbish SLBC, where you go commissioner. But more importantly than that, by 96, because of that objective that will make sure, say, they move the country from one party to democracy, he had no power. So I think saying a living example of how a young man will get power and show himself say, indeed, he will serve this country and serve the interests of everybody. So I think say, like you say, that inspiration day, from then saying they move and say that indeed young people not to just the energy, but like you say, both of them young people they get the experience. Chief Minister, instead of making reference to that, the Minister of Information, where na my own minister, you know, the Minister Timothy Mkaba, where they na the Foreign Ministry. This is somebody where don't serve vast experience in the government from DG Petroleum, this is a petroleum engineer, a commodity, he go back in the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. Vast experience. Dr. Jalikatu Mustafa, the Deputy Minister na Health and Sanitation, you know, he worked in the public service for the longest time, you know, and because of all the experience that we get, now make me feel say the way we cancel the people away, they get the experience, they get the energy. Also, they are suitable for the job. You make a mention of Aja Salima Tuba, when the Minister for Communications. This is somebody where they work in the DSTI for the longest time. From there, he go study, he get LLM in Masters in Law, part technology, and be lead advisor on technology and DSTI, you know. So then gets the background where I think say we need. Let me say also, obviously 5 years, I don't know that the public service as press secretary, they're able to make sure say at the management media relations around the presidency, now I don't count the governance on the policy side, you know. So each of the one there, now people away, they are suitable, they get the energy, but also get the experience. Some when not get the experience, now like I talk say earlier, you also get very senior colleagues at the cabinet where will support them and help them as we go along.
Dixon.
Yes.
So I also get more points for me.
No, the 2 points. Yes. It talk about the president handed over power. I think you get a lot of explanation from political scientists as Sierra Leone, known political scientists. Some they say it was forced to. Some they say a handover power. There is a whole lot of argument around that.
But those ones, like you used the phrase just now. You said a conspiracy theory there.
No, those are you have political scientists. Them we don't write books.
Yeah,
we don't write books based on research. So then when they don't write books based on each other, put another book like Professor Bob Kande and like Dr. Abdallah. You know we know the historians in Sierra Leone. We don't put another book say this is what happened. Based on research.
So, but Yusuf maintain that let me get one objective.
The
only objective now be for ensure the country
it is not just one objective. Sierra Leone gets bad economy. They were supposed in them here in the way they made for help Sierra Leone for recover. In fact, they were given the international support, the international acceptance. So, but there were allegations of corruption in the MPRC. There were allegations of thirst for power. There are allegations that they want to change to civilians and contest. So all of these things did. The other reason why I think say perhaps I make the president go for young people is the failure of informal ministers in delivering in policy. Imagine a president in his second term you talk about continuity in introductory statements. If we are talking about continuity and you actually don't deliver, they lay off 17 of your ministers then. They lay them off. You go lay off some few of them.
And these are key names.
Yeah, these are key names like Jacob Chusu-Safa, who was the mastermind of of both manifestos. The one we don't done with this one, we get 5 priority area, and the mastermind. Be Minister of Finance, be Chief Minister, you get
Professor David Francis.
Professor David Francis, yes, we also now be Chief Minister, we now be Foreign Affairs Minister, Apple forget a status na the United Nations Security Council. So you look at all of these things and you ask yourself whether the presidents look at them people and their records and see they're not succeed.
So
if they're not succeed,
so once we prepare in Dixie, one by the ministry the way I look at where I consider now be the Ministry of Public and Political Affairs.
Yeah.
The deputy minister is up. The minister has been gone.
Yeah. For me, I think one of the ministry that when me thinks even important. They're not even important in our country. Now, free money, then it's from where they create them. It's a ministry that evolved over the years. It started with President Kabab, Ministry of Presidential and Parliamentary Affairs. It move on, and Eskomaka, it be Ministry of Presidential Force and Public Affairs. We Alaji Alpha Khan Bindidi. It moved from Ministry of Presidential and to Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. And now the nomenclature don't change back. So it's like we people in our government, the firm way for like make it suitable in governance because it's not suitable in governance structure. So first of all, I think say that ministry, then a ministry what I think say they can just give to people. Let's say go there, go there, let yourself go to get something.
All right, you don't take quiet for. I like to take you in some of these.
So if I can take the cue from the conversation, I think it's very clear now that with this progress we don't see with young people coming in governance, now that the need for say it's not a position of convenience, and there's a lot of things where we need for work on around governance, and it's time we put all of the energy, the efforts into action. Enough of the fanfare, and we don't talk about young people being in governance. President Bio giving young people the opportunity to come and serve. I think this is the time we want to see that, just as Dixon say, foresee all of these representations translate into positive and very sustainable gain at the end of the day. So me, I actually look forward to that kind of zest. And quite interestingly, when I look at the Big Five, the manifesto, we obviously make certain things quite prominent. One we get for do with youth empowerment scheme. Of course, it says over the 5 years, President Diogo provide 500,000 jobs to young people. So I think there's a lot of strategic questions we need for bear in mind. We need for start for ask ourselves, like, how is that possible? Because my sense is that not government alone not will provide that magnitude of jobs. So it means how are they going to cultivate, how governments go cultivate private, partnership for indirect investment for come and invest, na salon for take with to that. Because to be realistic enough, I think, if President Bio can able to achieve up to 250,000 jobs over 5 years for young people, that will be a very significant progress, because providing those jobs means it will trickle down other things about society, will take care of themselves. Because
so in other words, you say, You want young people appointed to cabinet? Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Young people appointed to MDAs? Yes, that's great, fantastic. But for you, your concern is what's going to happen for the one that we know will get appointment.
Exactly.
How jobs will be created for them.
You know, I start to talk about tokenism here. You know, it will be something we're going to be very sustainable. You know, we want to see young people being in opportunities we're going to transform their life for decades. You know, so me as a young person, I get a good job. You know, we're going to pay me like 7 or 800, 8,000 leons. The next thing I want to get a nanny or, you know, like a house support. So in itself, also the support or they contribute to the employment level. So I think this will be something where for be very strategic in terms of the implementation. And I would really appreciate if we can be very clear about what are some of the mechanisms, how citizens, how Sierra Leoneans go for track the progress over time. Say indeed, now this and this, or can we be specific about almost percentage of jobs go to each sector? You know, and we're talking about agriculture. Currently, the statistics is that, you know, of 70% of the women, we have 70% of women engaged in agricultural workforce. But the damning report is that we get less than 30% where either own land or get access to the land there. So
you open another fresh conversation altogether. That would be something we can handle on another day.
Okay.
I mean, bring the right expert there for people to talk about. I mean, these are things we're all concerned about. I mean, if President says he's going to create 500,000 jobs for Sierra Leoneans, these things also form part of the
it goes on to say what we're talking about here, which is the youth of inclusion.
Exactly.
You know, all the 500,000 jobs, the estimated or anticipated job, go in that interest. So that's why basically I just decide for it.
That's valid points made. Dixon, you will get the third
the third point we all know say this now the final and last term of the president. Or get so many young people at the age of 38, 33 to 40. You get for look at the succession strategy. Is it a succession strategy that the president is creating among those young people? Let me look at who is performing well, that I could actually tell me party say this is the person now I will let for hand over power to. So you look at all of these dynamics. For me, those are the three reasons where I think see the president decide. I'm not in my mind. Mark you the constitution give the president the prerogative, the discretion for appoint and for create offices. As analysts, them we get for the question we get for question and analyze in discretion. Whether it did in the interest of Sierra Leone.
Every time.
Now with the question, is it in the interest of Sierra Leone? So for me, I think say it did with the three sectors: the energy, the failure of the old guards, and the succession plan.
Yusuf, let's go back to energy over experience. Waiting the young people there also will be appointed by President B or don't be appointed already. What are they bringing to the table in terms of the governance experience and exposure?
Well, they bring a lot of things. Firstly, my sister, I just want to make small comments. They talk about something about tokenism. You know, where we say tokenism, it just means say we give them for his sake, or you know something actually don't make it out. You know, just say okay, Lord,
so
this,
like
this will be blessing business.
You give me the cow.
Yes, but I think I feel say that not to be the motive, and the woman business president becomes more serious than just token. Because for the very first time, the Giwi Act, wait say 30%. If any other president, they go say, okay, no, this is not aspiration, we'll go move on to that. But if a president now say minimum 30%, so we mean say, even out of the full cabinet ministers then, we get 9 out of 29 cabinet ministers when a woman, we're at 31%. On the deputy ministers list, you also get 12.
9?
Yes, you get, the full cabinet.
Okay.
The full cabinet ministers. You get 9 out of 29, 31%. On the deputies, the deputy ministers, you get 12 out of 33, they're at 36%. When you combine both full ministers and deputy ministers, you get 21 female ministers out of 62 ministers, 33%. So we'll tell you, say, president is serious and deliberate. And you get people like, for instance, Madam Kenny Bale. This is a woman we don't spend most of her life, you understand, for do development work. That's not the token. Experience and somebody who is suitable for the job. You also get, for instance, the other colleague, when at the Minister for Higher Education, Aja Ramatulai. She has been in that sector for long, a lecturer, they get boko experience, you know. I make mention also to the minister, when a deputy minister, Jalikatu. Then even the minister self communication, so you make mention to. So these are
Minister
women,
of Sports also.
Minister of Sports, exactly. We get enormous experience. Now that sector. So this not a woman who just take them up for take sake. Dr. Max Kine, we're gonna water resources. This is not woman when I be civil servant before I look at the public service, work na the development trajectory in this country for a very long time. So what they tell you say, not to just token. This is not woman they were really suitable and they can contribute. But the young people, their experience. We don't talk about the Boy Nasenga, the chief minister. We see what's in our legacy we left from chief innovation officer at DSTI. They make a minister in basic education. We see all what he do. So these are people that get track record. And we're very hopeful, say, we don't care as chief minister. He go use all that experience inside governance for make you say the coordinating things about government.
We all know we public sector set up that when a young person is appointed, the first thing you get for doing for walk through, meander through that existing artificial bureaucracy. We deal with the one way they meet the how for get things then done, how you for bring them equal and they can do. And now we have David appointed, Dr. David Senge appointed as chief minister. In role now for coordinate ministers, some way far more experienced than he is at the moment.
Well, you know, everybody serve as president in discretion. And the fact say president puts on there, now because president believes say Dr. David Moinasenge will deliver. So therefore, all man, you know, when we all the worker because we get presidents in confidence. So not to us as individuals. At the office where they carry and president in trust.
So what is he bringing to the table? What did they bring? Now the question they're asking, what's in the young people there? So they bring. What is David bringing as chief minister?
So David is bringing experience in the public service. This is somebody who don't work na salon, out of salon, na boku countries then. South Africa, you don't work there, boku on the IBM. And also, we also see what's in legacy we left at the Ministry of Basic Education. So you go judge them by that one day. For no say, this not somebody, this new way come, it go deliver them. And about coordination. For coordinate, as somebody will get the experience with the work before the public service for make a look at that. So then you get also Timothy, the minister within the foreign ministry. This is somebody again with the public service, yes, even though in background, now in petroleum engineering, but also over the years, they don't make sure say at petroleum they deliver there. Where again our mines and mineral resources a delivery, and now at foreign ministry, it gets the gravitas for the ministry. Now somebody where a multilingual, it speak many languages, the way I think we're able to aid. We, in terms of the global stage, very fluent in English, very fluent in French, very fluent in Russian, beaucoup of languages there, you know. But you know, only stop there. Dr. Musa Kaka, when the new minister within agriculture, this is somebody self will get enormous experience, you know, they don't work outside the country, you don't work inside, and somebody will be advisor at the ministry for a long time with advice, you know, but somebody where a young, a dynamic, they also get the energy for deliver.
So straight to you now, Yusuf, Ministry of Information and Civic Education. A month, perhaps a month and a half, we're not able to settle down now, not able for, I mean, because I've been one ministry and split it into two. Some of the roles they're not new, but then you're creating new roles as far as the civic education part is concerned. We're not able to stabilize, we're not settle down. What's happening? Do you see on the see way clearly as far as young people in the ministry concerned?
Yes, and I think say we're very optimistic, we're very hopeful. I mean, we own job now for do two things.
Optimism can mean say something is not working as right as it's supposed to be, because you're Yusuf in first response. We're very optimistic, we're hopeful.
Yes, no, but let I just land it. I beg before Dixon they carry side. We all role at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education for make sure say we do two fundamental things. For make sure say one, we inform people very adequately, give them reliable information, accurate information, and timely information about what government they do. But also, there's a second ambit, civic education. We all hold back and make sure say we connect citizens and the government, because we feel say when there's a democracy of the people, by the people, citizens will be at the center of that one day. So when we come, Mr. Tutange, we begin and that's it. Don't do boku fantastic work. It don't lay the foundation. So we feel say not to just government for communicate to people, but government for listen, for get feedback. So part of what we government for make sure say we create that nexus, we narrow that gap between citizens and government. Because like the last time I say, you get the state, you get society, and government. Now between the state and society, and government for make sure say people working at the heart of the living process. People for able to be part of that governance day. Now I make we day not only for inform people, but for us to make that engagement between government and people. And I think, so like I say, we're very hopeful now. We look at various policies. We look at the laws they already around. We do all meeting with the Guild of Editors. We do all meeting with SLAG. We now they do a tour to all the agencies for see what's in they operate and what's new we go put inside there. And the minister very very dedicated, is very committed, and I did it for support time for make sure say we deliver. In fact, so soon we don't try because remember say government press conference maybe they start first now by English. Now we say no, now we make a Creole. So from Freetown, the policy for the probably na Kubola will understand what we mean by what government they say and make a
or Dixie Labing you come back before Yusuf they hopeful and optimistic.
Yeah, I think say them get right for be optimistic and for be hopeful. It's a difficult job for working in government. Then nobody say easy. And being a minister, it's difficult. You get a lot of expectation from people out there. And then they are the amplifiers of government policy. And then they amplify government policy, and then they propagate government ideas. Or I think they get a brand new role in a civic education, where I think say a very good for not just because when they say civic education in the country, most time people think for just school going pupils. I think all of us, civic education is good for all of us. So that a brand new role, and then the need for put them the shoulder and the wheel for work and try for come with innovative ideas about how for. It's good that they don't start this press conference in Creole. I think it's good that if you look at other countries, like where then they get engagement and they talk in the local language. So it's good that they do in Creole, so that this idea of misinformation, and I see that they get a lot of engagement. The minister they get a lot of engagement on social media. On Facebook, on Twitter, the recent invite or not invite or request of the president to ICC is a case study. But also things say sometimes they not get for be exuberant. They are youth.
But hold on, Dixon, you mentioned the use of new media, social media.
Yeah.
Could that be one of the reasons where President realized, say, okay, listen, I mean, this is the digital age. A lot of information then on a digital highway. We can get a lot of communication passed on to people and information passed on to people there. And in the last inning, we were accused of not communicating enough, not to make people know your actions, little steps that we take. You might see them as minor. But every time you do, there are people who see the information.
I think that they're good. I think one person will be always engage on social media, and the chief minister is also the engagement on social media. For me, I think that the exuberance part of it, I don't mention this ICC, what I think say they do very well for try for bring government to your side. But you also look at the US ambassador in statement recently for the Ministry of Information. I think the way they handle them, they not handle them properly.
Are you blaming that on experience?
I'm blaming that on experience, and I will say a youthful exuberance. We are young people. We want for be seen. Most of the time, we want for be seen. We know they patiently listen and then respond. If you're gonna
could that be a better way for address
better
situation
way
than
not just them, even the chief minister think say no respond properly.
You want for blame now they also on experience because our young people.
I blame on experience. I blame on experience, and then I also talk about the exuberance of young people. Just go around. If they have yourself, you know they listen to yourself most times. Even at the office, who say young man and the young guys said, "Oh, they talk. You know they listen to. I want make points. I want to make points." So that is also will continue. Then I think this is it will be a breaking news now. The chief minister just I think there has been another. My information is that there has been another office at State House where akin to the role of the chief minister, where perhaps in term president go say na young boy, but he not go able to do all length in the other. So now we don't get back the office of the chief of staff in the office of the president. There is the office, I think said Mr. Keketuma will confirm. There is the office of the chief of staff.
So I mean, I
remember when they create this office of the chief of staff. Now the United Nations Development Program to Nibla office, they advise government to drop the Ministry of Presidential Affairs and create Chief of Staff Ministry of Chief of in the United Nations, the United States. The function of the Chief of Staff now one of the people who wanted in a cabinet where they attend cabinet meeting in the United States is the highest office in the office of the president. And that function they will be see where they create this chief minister office. Now we see say that they do, but now we don't see chief of staff now don't come. Is it not a way of telling us that I don't give this mobile position, but I not trust them back enough for them deliver? Because you go it see duplication of functions in the office of the chief of staff and the office, because in Nanescoma in terms the office of the chief of staff now they do performance contracts and they rate ministers, just like the chief minister's office. Now they coordinate government policy interministerial. So we don't see that the office of the chief of staff in the presidency office. Not a young man.
Yusuf, confirm
I think even by your admission, instead of talk say chief of staff that within the presidency, the chief minister and the chief of all the ministers there, where means you get to coordinate all the ministries and put them together. But also, it talk about something, it make an indictment where things are correct small. You know, I can always tell Dixie this. You know, we are public servants. When something happens, people will get boku opinion. Yeah. But I can also tell Dixie, say, the manner in which the Minister of Information, Mr. Chaino Abdullahi Ba, handled the issue with the outgoing US embassy was fantastic. In fact, the day where the leak come out,
you give that fantastic.
Fantastic. In fact, it was fantastic. Because let me tell you, in fact, the day when the leak come out,
what's fantastic about the response that he said to the public that this now
no, I will tell you. No, he used the word. No, Dixie, wait. No, wait. Dixie used the word. Dixie used the word say exuberant. Yeah. Exuberant means say you're overexcited.
Yes.
If anybody exuberant, it means say the very day where the audio leak, now something the minister for don't go on radio or go on TV or minister go on radio TV. No, we give it 24 hours because we make sure say we get for all I come we get for listen and know what he talk. What he talk about in there. There are many things that we talk where he praise president, he praise the government of what you do. But all the other things in back where he talk, we disagree with them because we feel our opinion in that. Because we get engagement with the US government
but
Washington.
But you know when they talk, you're not really talking in personal capacity, but they're talking in capacity as the US ambassador.
Yes, no, but what did the minister say? The minister say, which was very right, that opinion the way he offer no represent the engagement today between Salon and the American government. Because at the same way they talk, we remember say, in fact, we ambassador to US, then we don't even invite them at the State Department. Then we get engagement with the Deputy Secretary of State. So I don't know if in be Sabina one day, but even beyond that one day, when they're even going to meeting, they even don't invite you ambassador. So this is a high level. They don't invite you ambassador. Why? Sidiki, why? For say, make it even go by the swearing ceremony of this incoming ambassador. In fact, you remember, I said just last week, the incoming ambassador, wait for come, go visit the Salon embassy in Washington. So we tell you, say, waiting the outgoing ambassador express, not represent correctly the relationship between we and the US government.
Dixon, gentlemen, one from Victoria get some bites and then we'll come back to on some of the points we don't begin.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting that we sort of they put now the limelight, the energy and the exuberance of the young people and way they take the fore in leadership, especially within this government. So for me, I see that one day as a huge motivation for them for succeed. And that dynamic initially I start to say, they don't foresee them position as one of convenience because there's a lot of work to be done. And I feel like, there's a lot of work to be done and with such urgency because 5 years is just, and for me, I really want to see a situation where the young people being interested, don't be called for serve, sort of create a blueprint. We're going to be quite sustainable and also create that trust for more young people for being included in governance. So like I say, we don't do a lot of fanfare, a lot of shouting about it. It's time we get down to work. And we get a lot of, I belong to, the Renaissance group, and we get a lot of Renaissance boys there. And I strongly believe in the competence. I think, the pragmatism and the strategy you bring in the play can also determine the sustainable inputs because, we're talking about sustainability, action. One for see, waiting we don't miss years, 5-10 years, from now, where we now don't get young people in places. I feel like this crop they face that challenge for actually the policies, the programs, being implemented are well implemented for really benefit the country.
Can they surmount the challenges? They're able to jump over them. They're able to left the blueprint.
Well, I think that's the idea. We make them call them for serve. So so it's more about getting to work now and doing the job.
Dixon, I'll come back to you. Taria is saying that, you mentioned clearly, that there will be Yusuf Sef established that there are challenges, clear ones. He said they're optimistic, but Taria is saying, say several times that this is not an appointment of convenience for people. And this is not the one way they were called to party and to chill and to have fun. They were called to serve, to leave a legacy. They're called to create a blueprint for other young people that will come 5 years after or 10 years after. And the question I ask now, these challenges, the young people that are so be appointed to government. That's why I asked Yusuf about the experience when they bring. What are they bringing? Are they going to be able to surmount, then challenge the way they defend the respective ministries, departments, and agencies where they find themselves? Because let's be realistic, some of them, they're not able to solve, not today, not tomorrow, not in 5 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some of the challenges, first of all, we get a bureaucratic system way so old. So I think say that now one challenge where they get for face. We're able to overcome those bureaucracies in government, and it would be difficult for some of them for change overnight. But I believe say therefore look at say this now a generational shift where it don't happen. The president in wisdom don't decide for shift public service from one generation to another. And then therefore look at as Taria says, to a job of convenience. And therefore look, say this is a third world country, one of the poorest country in the world. Term not in our favor. And if term not in our favor, they get for actually begin for work. They not get for weeks. Some of them actually don't show some signs of say they're ready for work. Some of them also signs say they're ready for work. Some of them they go places, they check places, and here and there. I hope that they will get for the most difficult challenge they get for face now the civil service structure. It get for be the most difficult challenge, and then this interministerial, some development and the way you want to bring, you get forget interministerial consultation, agreement, and so on as working together as a team. Again, and we all know again the issue of time in Sierra Leone. As politics they don't, politics they begin. In Sierra Leone, as politics done by next year 2024, we're going to be hearing about lower level elections in political parties, both the APC and the SLPP. And that is where the jostling for power, some ministers will begin to form camps about succeeding the president. If they actually go into that, and what you say, go by 2025, 2026, we would think about election now.
Yeah.
So if they forget the role and begin to form camps, say they want to succeed, this one wants to succeed president, then they want to succeed president, then it will be difficult for them to fulfill the 5-point manifesto, particularly the fifth salon. Let we note this. Not so now, the president and all the talk say, then the fifth salon.
Sure.
You remember
Every
President
president.
Momo, the Green Revolution.
Yeah.
In fact, there were cars. I made to understand. I was not born then, but there were cars. Green Revolution, but actually, Green Revolution not take place. President Ernest President Kaba, in his second term, he said, "No Sierra Leonean no go to bed hungry. Every Sierra Leonean they go to bed in belly full." He didn't succeed. PRSP one. President Ernest Baikoma, in his second term, talked about agriculture was his number one priority again. And he talked about bumper harvest, that we are going to have bumper. It was actually on paper than a manifesto at the farm.
Yeah, it turned out to be bumper hunger.
Yes. So then President Biona, they can talk about fifth salon. It's not an easy task. That one day for it's not an easy task. Then let's look at the other one. We talk about 500,000 jobs. Providing 500,000 jobs. Government cannot employ up to 10,000 people in the civil service structure. Government will be able to employ that. So what think government for do? Now for now we get political stability. Number one, right now we do for note that in terms of political stability, we get some opposition not great say that they go to government. They read about people and they say they want to do police say they don't arrest people for subversion, we can be interpreted as coup. So the political stability is number one. Forget investment I country. If there is no political stability, no investor no go they go taking in $200 million for computer and a country we shake they happen. So number one, this government get for create a semblance of political stability if you want for give jobs to young people, so that investment will come in. Where people invest, they will employ people in. That employment there, say it trickle down. If, for example, me get job and they pay me 10,000 10 million euros, I'm able for employ nanny. Now also they pay 1 million or 600 or 500,000 as the case may be. I'm able for go make me motoka pay fitter. So the job they trickle down. You understand? So for succeeding those two things, it's not going to be easy, particularly on the backdrop of these two things. Sierra Leone, as politics end, politics they begin. Two, the government up till now, they not create the semblance of political stability.
All right, Thomas. I'll come back to you. And in case you just putting on your TV set or you just go online, you watch AYV on Sunday, and today we'll talk about young people in governance. And President Bio, in the first term, get few young people that were appointed, notably Francis Ben Kefala and Dr. David Monina Senge, Yusuf Keke Thomas Andy as well. But then in the second inning, long list of young people and women will be appointed. Yusuf just mentioned that over 30% of women in a cabinet, President Bio appoints, and then at least 10 young people as well, with the under 40 will be appointed in a cabinet in ministerial and deputy ministerial duties. Now, so we talk about within young people forget young people in our governance and several other things they would address. I mean, some Dixie don't talk about some of the challenges. Yusuf as well don't talk about them. Don't forget to drop your comments wherever you did watch it from. Drop your comments. We will get time for read some of them from Facebook and from other platforms that we get. But Yusuf, I'll come back to you before we go and take some from the comments. Thomas mentioned quite a few things, paying special attention to job creation and feed salon as part of the two big 5 points in the manifesto. And I mean, like when they talk about young people in governance, job creation for 500,000 is a huge ambition. How is that going to happen for make sure, say, young people can continue, for believe in the fact, say, they can get road inside politics, but B, also for believe, say, government care about them and government want for seek their welfare?
Well, I think the way I can always start to answer that question, like you always say, by 2018, when presidents win. In fact, even before 2018, when presidents say they launched the free quality education, but people will not believe. I don't say even me, but when you bought a big system, not believe. When presidents say they launched the free quality education. But yes, few months into it in August, as we come, we launch it. And today, you understand, now part of presidents in legacy. So this now president's way, yes, very ambitious, they think big, they want to do big things, but also they believe in that, would they work through them, and I feel say that's what you will go do. But initially, before I start to abandon context, I tell you say, this is also new government. This is not a government will continue. We mean say 5 years ago, part of what we don't do, we also we don't make sure say we start for address some of the issue there. So through the Ministry of Youth, we be get boku projects in. So for instance, we be get the Youth in Fisheries project, where target young people in fishing communities. We create thousands of jobs there under. We be also get the Youth in Farming project, where across the country, 149 chiefdoms, we be get youth farms there, where we create jobs for thousands and thousands of people. But it not stop there in the mining sector.
But I mean, Yusuf, creating these jobs, then transform any life, then change people within them, bring calm. It's not about just having these jobs created.
Yes, but
like Together use this word several times. It be sustainable. Waiting they happen to them jobs that they be created. Then people and they still get them farm there, and still they get produce from them farm then.
So what they tell you? So of course, it continue. It continue in the mining sector, for instance, and Kingo, where they come. Because of the arrangement we make at the mining sector, we try to sanitize the mining sector. We get lots and lots of mining companies that we come. We create thousands of jobs. Then jobs are still available across the country. Then only stop there. We also make sure say back, come the National Youth Service. We're very critical because the National Youth Service, the act will be there by 2016 when they pass them. The last government not be do much. So by 2018, under the leadership of Odona Jallo, we revitalize down the back. So when means by the time we're done, 2023, we don't make sure so we don't provide training opportunities for thousands of young people. So in the private and the public sector, we make sure say the internships programs they will create about 60% we get retention rate. When means say then one day when they come out of university as graduates, when they come with them into these programs there, we they put them in the private sector, at the banks, at different side. The retention rate now 60%. So means say then get a jobs there. But in only stop there, we just also make sure say back across the board, young people the car wash program across, we don't create thousands of jobs then for young people we still there. So what do they say? This is not a government we get a track record. Now this is a bigger ambition. When we say we got to put all the ministers in together, we got to do with jobs people for me they work together. And this initiative now we will lead. Because remember say this president when I talk and do anything we say we deliver now. So as I talk to you now, we get them convention and they across government for make sure say how they practicalize and transform them into to reality. But we don't do it no more just by accident. We systematic, we plan them, but also we get a track record for sure say waiting president don't promise, it don't deliver them. We forgive people a hope for tell you say what we don't say we go deliver on them.
All right, thank you very much, Yusuf. The program now AYV on Sunday we come to you live from AYV. On DSTV channel 399, also on Facebook and on www.ayvnews.com. Mina John Conte. I want to take some of our messages from Facebook and other platforms that we get. Let me join Salifu if he's ready with the comments and the text messages so we don't get so far. Otherwise, we move on and I'll bring in. Don't forget, go on any one of the platforms and share your comments. I'm trying to check to see if we have any of the comments here. In the meantime, let's come back to Yusuf and Dixon and Terry with you now the studio there. We guest for today. Yusuf obviously now the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education with you now the studio. The role and ministry different. Initially it was just the Ministry of Information and Communication. Now Civic Education will be added to it. Terry with you now the studio as well now. Gender and youth activist. He also very very strong voice in feminism. Sierra Leone, they always talk for women. Them Thomas Dixon, we're a political and media analyst. We don't talk about youth in governance, waiting down them in and the step where President Bio don't take. So one pan the big question that we'll be ask now be and Dixon be established. Yusuf, I'll come to you now be energy over experience. The second point, Yusuf, where Dixon be raised. Now, being failure of past ministers, could that be a reason why president? I mean, obviously, if they were not appointed, it means they're not meet president in benchmark, in pass mark, for instance.
Well, no, of course. We go into these elections with the achievements they will make 5 years. And these are achievements they will be tangible and people will say, Big self make mention of Dande. For instance, the former minister will be in foreign affairs. After 50 years, Salongo back the Security Council. Fantastic achievement. Now, like any time when you get a team, you get a coach. Coach gets in formula. What you want to do? That 5 years the president set out what he want to achieve. Where be focused on the human capital development.
So at the end of the 5 years.
So at the end of the 5 years.
So let's use football
yes.
at the end of the 5 years, I find them surplus to equipment.
No, at the end of the 5 years, president said, okay, we don't achieve boku in them. But now I want to dedicate and make sure say I empower more young people for make them make sure say they can get experience and now they get energy. And
obviously, president give them consent for do
exactly because the constitution provides president can get discretion for appoint and for move people from place to place or say.
So okay, that's not decent. So Yusuf is saying not to failure, or rather that president in direction will take for empower young people.
I think the coach theory in football that they tell we say you don't change a winning team. Pep Guardiola need his coach change a winning team, for example. If De Bruyne winner in mid player, we get injury, he was actually out of the league. So you don't change a winning team. If you change 17 of your player there, and you say you succeed, there is a big question mark on your successes as a coach. They change winning team. So it also gets impact on the president for say not succeed in some of the ministries that we change people there. And some of the people that we change, to be honest, some of them actually they're not doing nothing. Take for example transport. You tell Mr. Keketoma, if he's on Air Force, you tell Waka, go to Eastern police every evening and see how people they struggle for go Eastern. They are boss the Nodi. As Lungo Transport Corporation is like is in coma. Wait for actually get boss system, wait for the blind the streets. So the Minister of Transport, for example, you not do much for help the people. Take for example, the Minister of Agriculture, I just hear you from Keketoma say this current minister said now be advisor at the ministry. Looking at that track record of the Ministry of Agriculture, and this man will be advisor.
You wonder how that advisor got appointed as minister.
Yes, I will succeed. Look, if you look at some of the projects, and then the Ministry of Agriculture, now one of the ministries really gets big projects here in onions, in palm oil, big projects here. But just recently, the price of onion. So I don't want to go up, we get to call us Lunge Yabas. But Lunge Yabas not even for way before in the Yabas no come. Lunge Yabas not even there for supplement that. You understand? Meaning there is failure in the agriculture sector. The president will tell we they say, and they appoint minister them, we get farm. Now, so you tell me today, Mr. Keketoma na be press secretary. I wonder among the ministers then, if you want to succeed on feed salon, among the ministers, how many get farm?
All right, I see you want to make a comment before I come to Yusuf again.
Yeah.
I want to talk quickly about the mining sector where you see.
Hold on, we'll come back and get it back.
But let's take comments also.
Okay, let's take it quickly before I come back.
Yes, the commission comment also too.
Yeah, I see the guys are having a good time. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I just specifically want to zoom in on the yes, the youth empowerment. I think that's you. I'm really particular about how the government intend for aggregate then percentage or the number of young people we intend for get job. Mind you, within our country where the when you talk about youth, people say youth man.
Mm-hmm.
So like the undertone there's a gender undertone.
Exactly.
You know, so like mostly when youth, the word youth come up in conversation, it's like you're only the refer to youth to man them, like man them. You know, steady bongo sing, youth man them, youth the one for work, and you see what's in the picture showing a man them. You understand? So I think it really go be nice for we get a perspective, an insight of what's in the package whole for the gender aggregation. You understand? Almost woman, because I listen, you know, Keketoma, you know, brilliantly don't spell out the different projects where the Ministry of Youth, you know, they undertake, the youth in fishes, the youth in, I think waiting actually not only stand out in all of them projects they are so. Now, how many women them involved in them projects they are so? The youth in car wash, I'll tell you, there is no provision of women.
No, I don't see
In the
plenty of them
project,
car wash.
we're going to do with youth in car
I don't
wash.
see no
But
woman.
you ask yourself whether the
And
women
youth-
are interested in it.
You know,
In
yeah,
car
no,
wash.
well, when you have to take it, I mean,
Because that's another aspect.
if you
You ask whether they're interested in
if
it.
you cultivate the project from a gender point of view, you get a target. You want to bring female in. You want for you go be very keen about women participating in this project. So I think because at that initial preparation stage, it was not in sight. They not think much about them. So for me, it will be very interesting for see almost female they be actively involved in this project because you're talking about inclusion, and I look forward to more conversations really and more, you know, president's briefing where go sort of be very clear, make them very clear about what's in the package hold the 500,000 job. It's so very ambitious.
Yeah,
and for start, if you look at that number there against the population, you will say small. Well, maybe we you know, if we don't even start with the conversation, like for us, why 500,000? Like why 500? Why 500,000? Why not 1 million? For example, you know. So,
but I'm sure the figure will be one from a realistic perspective because you don't want to go for 1 million and then you're able to meet 500,000.
Okay, that's fair. But again, I make a reference say, you know, when you talk about agriculture, I think for be very strategic. Certain things need to be very clear, like how do they intend to go about it? What are the mechanisms? What are the evaluation mechanisms? And at the end of the day, how do we really get to track the progress? I talk about agriculture when one of the most powerful driving force of our economic activities, and you get this particular sector be largely dominated by women who, you know, if you look at their lives, are very poor, live, and not get much for show for the agricultural activities within the into.
Yusuf, I hope so you get
so I think
because
so so for me, I'm really interested for see how the government intend for address some of these inequalities where they undermine the representation of course, because you're talking about inclusion. It goes beyond governance. It goes beyond political appointments. You know, it should trickle down into all of these communities, you know, every facet of the communities.
Absolutely.
So for me, I mean, I think waiting need for be very clear. Now, how?
You know that's why you're on this panel.
Yeah.
Because we've been for if we for us get Dixon and Yusuf for argue out, but then you're here, you're bringing that perspective to the entire conversation what they get around waiting woman them could benefit how we get for talent for woman them, but also even in governance. Yusuf, I hope you get the idea from that aspect. You will respond quickly before you take a bite from waiting Dixon BC, and I will come back to Dixon for the mining sector. We use Dixon for talk about.
Okay, so I just want to give an example. Say obviously it's a concern and a concern with government. Government always not. In fact, in the Munafa Fund, we be launched, we President they give credits to them, small microcredit to them, small enterprise system. In fact, 70% of that funding, so you don't give more than 10,000 beneficiaries, you don't get. About 70% of them now women them and young people. We mean say at every stage where they go, we obviously we care, we concern, and even with the youth. Remember, we also provide training on tractor operations and maintenance for young. In fact, digging one say, oh, go one trip, oh, go, you see woman them. They have the machine, they clean the machine, they land the work. So definitely, like you say, wait till we can continue for you now for make sure say we then increase on and get the aggregated figures. But every policy, every initiative we government they do, we care about women them, we concern about women them, we put women them before, and those are the practical things that I think say we go move on forward. Because remember, say, for make you get a president, we don't pass a Giwe Act. Now, because he believes, say, we cannot keep more than half of the population on them, who side them be there. We have to move on, we have to get them more empowerment. And therefore, I think, say, gender issue are cross-cutting issues, across governance, across government. But also, this we talk about, for instance, transport sector. There are many challenges alone. But we remember, say, in the past 5 years, now under the same government, we commissioned one of the biggest infrastructural projects at the new airports. Now, the transport sector, so, like I say, there are challenges. And these challenges, we recognize the we put yourself forward for make we go back for a second time. And we believe in the president's vision, but we not just do them without hope. We do it with a track record of what we'll get. And we believe, say, in the next 5 years, like for instance, you talk about food security. We also remember, as I speak to you now, the rice self-sufficiency, the metric, will not increase for 49%. Now we're about 75%. What it means, say, we don't increase the metric source of rice the way we produce year in, year out. But these are things that we will continue to build on. It's not impossible. But we believe, say, the president don't put the team together, he gets the minister, they will get the vision, what things they go to deliver. Then one last thing, waiting Dixon, they say, well, I know, miss me. It's talk about political instability. Say the country, the government not put together, the country not politically stable. The country is very politically stable. Governance, like any other country, you realize, say, whether not in America, in different countries, people are normally waking loss.
So tell me for text messages, but Dixon,
yes,
I just want to qualify that.
I just want to
yes.
People, parties are waking loss, and concerns and get the issues there. But the nature of the country, we get with law, the Public Elections Act 2022, make it clear. Say, if you get any concern, if you go to court, that thing they don't pass. And we fix now governance, they move on. And now we don't reach out. President maybe reach out to the opposition, say, now can't together more work for we put we brains together to move this country forward. It is very deliberate, and I use this platform again for it to get that message. And I'm very happy I don't begin the coalition meeting with the Peace Commission. What I think say a good for we, and with the call on the APC, say may them join hand for the governance and the government of Salon for more of this country go before. May them go parliament, may them go make contribution. Make laws.
Yeah, because there's plenty young people there,
Exactly.
We go as
then if you go parliament, and if you go if a political party they refuse to go, like for example, Freetown, we don't say na APC win the mayor. You get McKinney, when an APC win the mayor. Or other place there, then they refuse for go there. It means the country get political issue.
Yeah, but that means it's unstable.
And the instability fueled by the arrest. Not the arrest of military, serving military personnel that they say they want for Duku, subversion.
Now, APC military.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And these are people, these are military people. When by the names, it's a question I ask at the first press conference. Who are these people? Because the names, they show you say the people that have been arrested and come up from one particular place. The country. We know political divide.
Yeah, but that is not correct. You get APC people, we get names there. For instance, guys of Vandy, where they come up Kenem and APC. We cannot. No, Dixon. No. Yeah, but Dixon. Yeah, but now, JK, we cannot reduce.
Gentlemen. Okay,
that's a question I ask. Now the ministry, the first press conference. But they don't be answering me. Say, who are these people? Because the information they get as journalists, then people will come out, majority come out now the rest and enough.
All right, you're protected for now, Dixon. So like you, small time. We want to see what reviewers don't they say from across the globe. Watching AYB on Sunday with regards to plenty things we don't talk about youth and governance and why make president decide to do this in his second inning. Let's take some of them comment there. So now join Salifu with the comments we on the cam, I know say they're diverse, they're very and they're plenty, but we can take the one we're able for take for today. Salifu.
Okay, thank you, John Pointe. Just as like you say, we get over 100 messages, going 200, even more. But as you say, we would take some, and I think most of them they in English. So I think few they were there in Creole. The first message I would take for today, it come up from Lamine Sobet, and it says, I would like to express my gratitude to President for recognizing and appointing young individuals into positions of governance. This decision demonstrates his commitment to youth empowerment and inclusivity. And the second message is from Ibrahim Jakema. President is unprecedented as the first president in the history of Sierra Leone to appoint young people in decision making in Sierra Leone. Thank you, President Yo. And Ibrahim Jakema again. Under President Yo, the young people are no longer the future leaders, but they are the leaders of today. All of us are examples of President Yo, empowering young people. Thank you, Mr. President. We are indeed at the center stage in decision making. And Eddie Grant says the failure of some of these old guards like J.J. Safar, Francis Kaikai, Cabinet Alon Ital made the president to inject young blood into the system. And Edward Williams says, it is good that the president is appointing young cabinets, but do they have the requisite skills to manage these tycoon civil servants? And from there, we get another one again from Ibrahim Jakema. This dynamic set of young people are not only young folks, but they are young people with a track record of professionalism, determined to reciprocate what the president has started by bringing young people on board to deliver for Sierra Leone. Kudos to Deputy Minister Yusuf Keke Thomas Sandi for your belief in the young people of Sierra Leone, as you are a bright example of how young people have the zest and energy to deliver during your era as the youngest press secretary and presidential spokesman. And Eddie Grant says, these young ministers that have been appointed shouldn't just sit at the office to supervise and achieve. They have the energy and knowledge to do so. And Lansana live from Town, Korma Mendechito. I hope these young ministers deliver in the best way possible for the betterment of our country alone. And E. Babo says President Bill appointing youth in his government is a reliable formation to help him achieve his goal. Dr. Senge proved it in the first time. He was even awarded the best minister in the world. Until today, he is the only minister that has made the cleaning of our youth buildings that is hosting more of the ministries. Oman Bandura, as Minister of Youth, is also another gem. My only caution is that they need to spread their tentacles in helping others rather than making selfless and proud. Thanks, President Yo. And Michael Bob Komen. The president has trust in young people whom he has given the opportunity to serve. I pray that the Moses Benga says, thanks to the panelists for their contribution. The government should encourage the succeed in the 5,000 youth employment. Furthermore, government needs to emphasize on the energy sector because investors will only come where there is a stable energy power supply in the country. Ronald Redford, Ignatius, George Stone says, having young involvement will not make the real changes needed. There are millions of young people unskilled, unemployed, and underemployed. Providing 5,000 jobs would be a challenge when the government needs to get at least 1 million. My question is, where will these jobs be created and where are the investments coming from with an economy in distress, with inflation and interest rates that hasn't been maintained? Our currency is weak and hasn't been leveraged of attracting foreign direct investments. So let's hope they can get things going for the betterment of the masses. But 5 years won't make much of a difference if the last 5 years are anything to write home about. And Ibrahim Bundu Tamar says, I think my brother Dixon is right on his point, stated as politics end and politics start, which has to stop if we want to be better leaders. So for such to be achieved, I think political stability should be attained. So normalcy in state running will be done. Regards from Ibrahim Bundu. And we have Mada Swalido Kamara. Thanks to President Bio for appointing a young and energetic man like the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education. Who knows how to disseminate
Everybody praise you.
Minister. Last message that we will say. Thank you for sending in those messages and back to you, content.
Thank you, Salifu. Quite interesting comments. There are some messages within the shower praise on the Deputy Minister of Information, but more importantly, there are some messages where one of them, well, a couple of them will really stand out. Dixon, Michael Bob come and say young people are not for disappoint, the one that don't be appointed, because if they do now, down the line, no sober president, no come and appoint young people again for serve in a key position there in our governance, because then go, they look at what happened in the last 5 years.
I think say they're not test case. They're not test case for this generation. See if they perform, then the next president will come, then will always they say, let's bring young people on board. But if they not perform, then I think say that opening it will be dashed. For make statements about the mining sector. I think the mining sector is one sector we will provide huge employment for. And I think say we need for look into that sector critically, especially the job that we Sierra Leone and they get at the mining sector now. It come right now. It come up to middle management level. Before now, in the Anescoma regime, we see Sierra Leoneans at top management level, CEOs of mining companies. Now, among the companies that we'll get now, we know they see Sierra Leoneans as CEOs at top money. That's an issue also, because yes, it's good you are coming with your investment, but it's also good that you put trust in Sierra Leonean for Ede. We see the likes of Monsieur Fadika as CEO of African Mineral. We see the likes of John Bono Sisse as CEO of Sarah Rutile. We see the likes of Engineer Kylie, as CEO of London Mining. So you get Sierra Leoneans and that they give up. They understand the dynamics. But if we keep on having these foreign direct investment and at top management level Sierra Leoneans, and they break in, then I don't mean a job they will still get. Then also, forget a job is not also about government, particularly in the mining sector. It's also about us young people for getting the required skill.
Yeah.
Like for example, I know mining companies that we want people for operate them every duty machines, they don't get the skill.
Yeah.
So it's also good that young people try for begin forget the skill. Even at one time in Abolui, Nawataki, I know they had to import Ghanaian for operate the crane, the way they is the container from the. So I think say we need to get some of them skills and they as young people. We get for make yourself. Somebody talk about underemployment. We get for make yourself employable. We get forget the requisite not just academic qualification
skills.
I think it has to be skills cut across all levels. That is where the technical vocational institutes will get for see them up and running again. Training people with relevant skills for the mining sector. Mr. Keketoma mentioned about free quality education. For me, yes, there is free quality education. How much free is it? I think and Lavali do a research on how free and household they still spend.
So Dixon, obviously, if we open our day up now,
household they still spend.
If we open our day up now,
talk about quickly. Talk about the new airport. I think it's a fantastic work, but we all know how it was achieved. It's a presidential initiative. The Office of the Presidential Initiative, led by Dr. Tambi Uzo, who has also been fired. It was led by that man. So,
if an initiative not come from the president, I mean,
no, it's a presidential. It's the Office of the Presidential Initiative. I create that one. I go fend that time business day. Not so for saying that the Minister of Transport supervised by the police. Okay, sir.
Okay, all right, let's come back. Let's come back to somebody comments that will be made. One panel mentioned that Michael Bob comment. I'll come back to you here for make a comment on that. Say young people are not for disappoint. Eddie Grant say the failure of the old guards then lead to, I mean, whether Kekewan for agree to that or not, lead to the appointment of young people na the new cabinet and governance. Ibrahim Jakema say in the past they say young people are the future leaders. Now he's saying they are the leaders of today. Say, I'll follow you take a bite quickly on the one and then before I come to Yusuf and some other comments they would make.
Yeah, of course we don't say that one day. The expectation is very high for these young people in governance, and rightly, a lot of them, virtually all of them, come in with the track record. So we want for belief say they can live up to the task. Yeah, another thing again, I don't know if I can just
go ahead.
Yeah, I think we not actually go do much justice to this particular topic here today if we fail for also contextualize one of the worrisome situations where we face currently with young people. We get to do with the drugs abuse. Yeah, I think it's a very serious issue because when we talk about youth inclusion, you imagine young people were fit enough mentally, physically, for engage in both civic and political activities. But if we don't see a trend where, a critical set of the young population, they sort of be swayed in the use of drugs. And the sad part is, as alarming as it is still not appear like alarming in the society. So I think that's one important thing where we really can scrutinize when we look at youth inclusion, because at the end of the day you get then critical sets, then it's like they kind of cut off the development participation, and then also that one day we want for see, because when you talk about youth inclusion, we want for left the elitist youth, young people where don't go university, where sort of empowered, in some kind of way, we go and them positions on different governments or other high-seated, positions. But what about the young people
without any
in the slum communities, without any set skills? Young people where their life they be wasted away. you know, and for me, I think we go be very intentional and sincere about young youth inclusion when we face this serious issue. For me, I see I'm like it's a plague, and it's a plague where, like it or not, it affects we all. It affects we all because the dependency level where they invoke in society, it's so worrisome. As I talk to you now, I get, you know, some boys in we area car wash, very smart guys, take the car and then can wash them for me, would get some, you know. 3 days ago, one part them go now and go take me Mozakabati. You know, and in the early engagement, like these now people where you they see say engage in this drugs abuse. You know, so I think one of the things that we will not do now, for first of all sincerely acknowledge this, how this problem they affect youth participation in governance and with development trajectory, and also how, like, we want to identify the source of the problem. How then drugs here the smuggling, how do they make their way?
So one bad thing that we,
know.
Ministry of Information and Civic Education, we don't handle and address. I've been this one push. I remember there was a dedicated press conference purely to them bringing Gallo from Kisi Psychiatric Hospital on board the panel and all the experts then for able for issue.
Exactly.
And then if for do
And I think I also been the part of an engagement in a state house where I think it was a cabinet conclusion to look at substance abuse, in particular the push, where I think government may call stakeholder consultation, because according to the chief minister, they no one for come out with solution, we not come out from the people. And drug abuse, you not get for just you can't tackle push. How you therefore understand like how young people graduated from Jamba to Tramadol to Kush. The next thing they look for the way past Kush. So we talk about Dr. Jallo. Dr. Jallo give clinical data about the demographic way they take Kush. 60% now secondary school picking them. Secondary school picking 60%. 11% university students. When you talk about 11% of the university students, they take Kush. So you get the law aspect of it, enforcement aspect. You also get one thing we will lack from that meeting that will not get a rehab center. You know, that had been the statement of the Minister of Social Welfare. That they get a structure now. The government don't employ 150 social workers, but there is no rehab center, but there is a structure where they aim one for in the proposal government for letting use them begin. Because you get to understand, see, first of all, drug abuse not just only Sierra Leone.
No, it's not.
It's all over the place. And from Dr. Jallo, you talk about imports. And it seems as if the kush and the imports again. Then they produce an now with some kind of leaf, put formalin and so on. And so it tells you about the different types of the Jagaban kush, and yes, you get different type of kush with the one day where they make you sleep, the one day where they mix with tramadol where they make you active. So there are different types of kush. So therefore understand as a state dealing with, they are experts in drug abuse. And they also may make recommendation for look at country them. One country we been there into this substance abuse now, Malawi. Then get for look into the other case stories. South Africa also being get this. What they motivate, they make youth, young people, and they go into
and how for the
drug.
All right,
so I think it's a whole lot of. I agree with you. We're not going to done this discussion if we talk about young people in governance. If we not talk about Kush, and I think as a state, all of us, the states, the community, we see community and they use an approach where I think say not to be good approach. You cannot victimize the victims. Then people and they also beating the need at that time. The need for sit down, talk to them, and so on. One thing we don't lack, I don't think so we get cancer. Where you think you don't come on and work, you stress out, problem. Sometimes you get for put yourself together. for let you come back. So I think the issue of mental health is a big issue that the state we need to tackle.
Okay, the Dixon and Terry, thank you very much for that. You saw more comments on that, but several other comments that will come in now. Ronald George Stone, I think he began long other name then, so we sorry for the terrible call. But Ronald say, who side and job there so they come out 500,000. How they go be created? We get economic distress, inflation, and weak currency. He says, how then job there so go come? Who side and they come out? Now magic, how you they able for get them done so that you employ or you create jobs for 500,000 people inside 5 years. But also, I mean, Dixon mentioned along creating the jobs, there should be skills acquisition. So that means then tech voc supposed to be set up along the line. So the one way employable will not get these skills, then forget them work or go sit on a table very long time or wear kaftan or agbada. We will forget side and they use their hand for make things both man and woman then. That ain't gonna wait until you say.
Well, I think, like I said, I think, in my initial intro, I say this not a government will just start on the 24th of June. This that government will continue. 5 years, part of what we don't do now, we realize say, not to everybody to go through the formal structure for come sit was go to university, some people in their way, then not so university, the one land trade, the one land book for the formal structure. Now in make 5 years, we don't establish most of the districts there. We get skill training in the vocational centers they will do for empower young people. What I think is very important. Set out in the manifesto the various things that we're going to do. We're not just need to talk about how government not they create jobs there for everybody. Yes, we understand that and we accept that. And I make part of what we're going to do now for make sure say we give tax and non-tax incentives to the private sector. So in addition, I don't talk about all the government areas, the jobs them for you. Specific reference I make things to the we make sure say, but who come is the way they come, then create jobs them for young people and create jobs them for salon people. And we make sure say that able alone for addressing of challenges that we'll get. And we can talk about say the cadre of salon people and how they work. Yes, we get mining sectors that where you get salon people that work at senior level, at senior management level, but you also get at middle level management structure. But we get to understand say these are private companies, and government has to be very careful for make sure say we're not just to go impose on these private companies because you also want to give them the independence because at that moment they can't invest. You create the enabling environment to make sure say they get people we get the competence, get the skills. I go assure and say where some people are competent, we get the skills, we get the knowledge. At every opportunity we come, but then company they will get the opportunity for serve and work. Then they will get the assurance there. But definitely, as you go, these are private companies. Them we get the investment with the capital of this country who will support them. But also the jobs them. Who selling for come out. Like I said to you, this is a presidential initiative. So as I talk to you, not planning. And make reference to Dixie where I talk say by 2018 we'll go per campaign, they say, oh, education, people not believe. But the president will get into a they say, will they sit down, think and through, put people all together for me to say we'll achieve on them. And because Dixon go up and meet where the chief minister be called, we don't take this matter very seriously. But we don't view that the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, this is also just a law enforcement issue. So the other day, I think last week, I see there's a magistrate way, I think, remand about 50 people way, I think they say, but push and then pushing people and we're not just for treating a court. We get for make sure say, like, don't start for now. Get everybody on the table and count. Because what they do, they create more problem than solution. You get already polish for Malin, they say they take some diamond bones, poison. These are things that were everywhere. So just for use the law alone, law enforcement, and then for me just say we also get a bigger conversation on how to address the push
Dixon,
issue. Because I
hold
think
on,
it's
Yusuf.
important.
Dixon, I don't know if you remember, there was a time, I think it was in the 90s, leading on to 1996, 98, where we used to have like a huge problem with Jamba.
Yeah,
Where a lot of public education be done on. You had many PSAs on radio, women they go on. Where
it was not just Jamba.
Mm.
Push